Good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to the Sullivan family. It is, I don't even know what day. What day is it? It's Thursday. It's been so busy this week. I don't even know where the time's gone. We've had appointments and more appointments and shopping and stuff and everything. Isabel had her braces appointment this morning, so she has had her braces on. Ben has got an appointment for his foot this afternoon, so what that will bring, I don't know. Maybe good, helpful, maybe. We've had some other appointments this week. Following on from yesterday's vlog, you will have seen that my car decided that it didn't want to work anymore. On the way to Inverness for Olivia's birthday, she wanted to go, it's just the cat, she's just chilling on my washing. We were going into Inverness for the afternoon because she wanted to go to Primark. Got as far as Nairn, car just cut out, engine fault, lights came on, car cut out, which was not helpful. Luckily though, there was, I don't actually know how much of the story Ben has told, so I'll just tell it again. There was a tow truck coming the other way. We'd been there maybe 5-10 minutes. Obviously I had to put my hazards on and everything else, but it's quite, I didn't expect it to be as busy as it was that day on the road, but it is the tatty holidays here at the moment, so the schools are off. But it was Sunday, so I thought it wouldn't be that busy, but it was busy. People were, I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't do anything. My car had just cut out. Tried to start it, wasn't having any of it. People were like shouting and swearing at me and stuff for being stopped in the road. Not that, you couldn't do anything about it. But anyway, after I'd phoned, we'd phoned the RAC and all that sort of stuff. And I did have Agnes and Florence with me in the car. I was just about to get them out onto the side of the road because it's a busy road, but it's not like a motorway busy road, you know what I mean? It's just a busy road. And a tow truck came the other way, and luckily he saw me, went back round a roundabout and stopped, put his lights on and stopped, and got me across the road to a lay-by across the road, so cut across the traffic. And then he got the job from the RAC and towed us back to Lossy, where my car is still. So our garage that we use, 'cause it's really difficult with garages. We don't have like hundreds of garages, and you kind of tend to use, we've been using the same garage for, well, ever since we've been here, 10-12 years. So you trust, you go to the people that you trust the most, don't you? We've taken all of our cars there ever since we've lived here. So we kind of trust our garage, but he is very, very, very busy. Now, my car was booked in for a service next Tuesday, but obviously it's there a week early. So even if it doesn't get looked at any point this week, because he's when we had it dropped off there because we needed it towed to a garage, and he was honest with us. He said, I don't know when I'm going to get to look at it. I can't tell you what's wrong with it. We don't know what's wrong with it until he looks at it. So even if it doesn't get looked at this week, it will get looked at on Tuesday because it was booked in anyway for Tuesday. I am hoping beyond all hopes that it is nothing catastrophic, put it that way, because quite frankly, our cars are on finance, and like a lot of people's cars are on finance, and I have not finished paying for my car yet and still have a couple of years left on it. And if it's completely catastrophic and I can't get it fixed, I'm paying for a car that I don't own, and then I can't get a new one because I can't afford 2 car payments, another car payment if you like. So I'm hoping, and then equally I'm hoping that it's nothing too expensive, because again, you're weighing up. Our cars are not, they're not new by any stretch of the imagination, but they're probably the newest cars we've ever owned. We've always had quite old cars, or, quite old second-hand cars. These ones are probably the newest ones we've ever owned. Obviously we have Ben's car as well. So we do have Ben's and we have Lizzie's car. We don't have Lizzie's car. Lizzie has Lizzie's car. But yeah, it kind of, we can't all go out. In fact, we are all going out because we're going to Landmark tomorrow, but we've hired a car for a day. It's like £30 or something to hire a car for a day, because we're going down. We booked in to go down. But other than that, yeah, we have a car. Obviously, we have one 7-seater, and Lizzie's got her car. So I'm just hoping that it's nothing too anything to get fixed. The simplest thing it could be is just something like something simple. Just get that fixed. That's what I'm thinking. It's pointless worrying about it because I can't worry about what I don't know about. There's nothing you can do. It's pointless worrying, isn't it? Because what will be, and that's all we can kind of do. Anyway, it's just a little bit of a quick update. This is kind of a bit of a catch-up vlog because I don't feel like I've done one of these for ages. And we have some news. We are going to Cornwall. We're going home. Not forever. We're going for a holiday, kind of holiday. So as I've spoken about my mum not being very well a little bit over the past sort of year, 18 months. And I'm not going to go into it too much because it's not my story to tell. So, and I know a lot of people have asked how she is and all those things, and I really, really appreciate that. And so does she, but it's not been an easy time. She's had not an easy time. And like I say, it's not really for me to go into the whole kind of situation because it's not about me. But she's not been well recently. She's been in hospital. She is at home now, but she's been really, really poorly. And to be honest, I feel completely useless here. And I know going down for a little bit of a holiday, there's not much I can do, but we need to go home. We need to go home. We need to touch base. We need to see family. We need to be there for a bit. So we haven't been home in 14 years. We've not been back to Cornwall. Now, Mum and Dad were going to come up in last month. Was it last month or was it supposed to be this month? We're in October. So I'm sure it was last month they were going to come up. Was it September or October? September. Anyway, they'd booked to come up because Mum was feeling better and all that sort of stuff and a bit stronger. So they were booked to come up. She had chemotherapy. She had radiotherapy at the beginning of the year. Obviously, the effects of radiotherapy can be very, very long and drawn out, and it's very, very invasive. It took her quite a long time to get over, and I don't think anybody realizes until you've kind of been through it that the effects of radiotherapy can last for months afterwards. It's an intense period that you have it for, and then the effects can last months and months and months afterwards. But she was feeling better. They booked to come up for a few days to see us, and unfortunately she ended up in hospital. They had to cancel their trip. Now, I put a reel on about this, a TikTok on about this, because she'd actually sent some presents up for the kids, because whenever Mum and Dad come up, they bring just a little gift for all the kids. They don't have to, but they like to. Before anybody jumps on and says anything, they like to bring up a little gift for the kids. The kids love it. And it's normally something like a little kit or something that Mum can do with the kids or something like that. And then they normally give some money to the older ones. Anyway, so she sent this stuff up instead because they'd already got it all sorted. She'd already bought all the stuff, so they posted it up. When I put a reel on about it, I had a few people jump on me saying, if that was me, I'd be straight down there visiting my mum. There would be no way that I would be leaving her, and there'd be no way I'd be doing this, and I'd be straight down there. And I get everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone's got their own opinion. Everybody's got what they think they would do in a certain situation. But And I wasn't upset by it, because I know that that's not my situation, and I know that that's not what my mum would want me to do, or not expect me to do. Do you know what I mean? Because that's not how we roll. Everybody has their own ways that their families deal with things. Everybody has. We've lived away for a lot of years. We've had to go through different situations, both ways, that we've had to deal with. I mean, I went through a C-section with the twins, an emergency C-section under sedation with the twins on my own, because I had nobody else to be there. Obviously, you know, my mum and dad are a long way away. They wouldn't have been able to get there in time anyway. It was an emergency C-section. Ben had the other children. He couldn't get to the hospital in time. So, you know, there's lots of things that we've been through on both parts when you live away from family that you have to cope with, that maybe other people would have had their family there for. So it's a very different situation that we're in. So like I said, I wasn't upset by the comments that I got, but it pissed me off a little bit, to be honest, just in the fact that people sometimes are so privileged, and I don't think they realise how privileged they are to be able to just do that, to drop everything and to go. And don't get me wrong, if something terrible was to happen to anybody in the family, you know, I would drop everything and go if I needed to. But sometimes you have to weigh up and you have to assess the situation. Now, I would have loved to have been able to be there when my mum was going through radiotherapy, chemotherapy, all that sort of stuff. But that would have meant me leaving my home for a good few months at a time, you know, and that's not something that is feasible. I have my own family. I have lots of children, you know, and yes, I could have gone down there for a few days, but to be honest, I wouldn't have been much use. And I do normally speak to my mum on the phone every single day. We FaceTime every single day. That's how we have always kept in touch while we've been away. She FaceTimes the kids there as well. Obviously, she keeps up to date with what's going on in the family. You know, she knows the ins and outs of everything that goes on. And as much as I would have loved to have been able to be there and to pop in and visit and just drop some bits and bobs in and just go in and say hi, which I would have done if I'd lived there, I can't do that because, like I said, I can't just, you know, up and leave for long periods of time. We have a life up here. Our kids have a life up here. I have responsibilities here. So it's been really, really difficult. And, you know, people are very quick to jump on me and say, I would have done this, or I would have done that. And, you know, my heart would have done that 10 times over. I would have jumped on a plane and gone down there. But the sensible part of me has to go, but what use would you be? You know, when mum was going through things as well, she was very tired. She was very poorly. She didn't really want to see anybody, to be honest. She didn't really want visitors or anything like that. And like I say, if I'd lived there, I would have dropped in soup or taken in something, or, you know, just popped in to say hi. But I don't. So, anyway, the fact of the matter is, we live 700 miles away. We live at the other end of the country. Now, when we first, Ben, obviously, we moved away, obviously, because we were in the RAF. I moved away from home, and so did Ben when we were quite young. I came back after about 10 years. Me and Ben got together, and our first marital home, or when we first lived together, if you like, before we were married, was in Cornwall. We both lived in Cornwall. The two eldest children were born in Cornwall. Now, we then moved away to North Wales with the RAF. And when we lived in North Wales and Oxfordshire, we came home a lot. We went home a lot. I mean, when we lived in North Wales, we went home a lot, like once every 2 months, because I missed home so desperately. And I found it really difficult being away. And we did go home a lot, spent a lot of money. It's not cheap. Travelling is not cheap. We used to drive. And then when we had the little twins, we moved to Oxfordshire. Now, we moved to Oxfordshire for quite a few years. And then I think we had, with the little twins, and then we had Noah. And to cut a long story short, we used to go on holiday quite a lot to Cornwall, see the family. It was a regular thing. We went down a lot. And then one time we went down for a wedding. My brother got quite ill, and my heart I wanted to stay. We were down on holiday at the time. My brother ended up in hospital. He was ill for quite a long time. He had Guillain-Barré syndrome, so he was in intensive care for quite a while. Then it took a lot of rehab, and my heart said, I want to stay here, and I refused to go home. I hated living in Oxfordshire. I didn't like it. I didn't like being there. I always wanted to go back, and so we moved back to Cornwall. But Ben still had to work in Oxfordshire. We moved back to Cornwall. We took the family down, and the kids were young at the time. Noah was only a baby, so they were quite adaptive to moving about. I said, I wanted to go home. I wanted to stay. I wanted to be of help to my family. And to be perfectly honest, it was harder. Obviously, Ben would come home at the weekend and then go back during the week. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. I had my own family to take care of, so wasn't that much extra help. It was nice being around my family, but I wasn't that much extra help. And in the end, we ended up moving back to Oxfordshire because it was what we needed to do as a family. And then we moved back when I was pregnant with Eva. And then within 2 years, I think, we had got a post into Scotland. So when we moved from Cornwall back to Oxfordshire when I was pregnant with Eva, it could have only been like 18 months. Obviously, I had Eva, she was a baby, and then we got a post in. So we never kind of went back to Cornwall for that final visit. We moved to Scotland, and we've been here ever since, because it is a mammoth journey, huge journey. Now, obviously Ben was in the RAF for a lot of it. He spent a lot of time away, so it was just never on the agenda to go back home because the kids were in school at the time. Going to Cornwall in the summer is a very, very different ball game. It's very expensive. It's very busy. It never used to be like that when I was young. It wasn't the cool and hip place that it is now. It always was to us. It will always be home. But now, obviously, it's fashionable to be there now. So it's much, much, much more expensive. Just noticed someone's been in all my stuff over there. So it just became something that felt not attainable. Because it was expensive. There was always things on. Ben was away. He spent a lot of time away. Courses, foreign climates. So it just never... So my mum and dad would come up. People would come and visit us. Mum and dad started... It was like their little breakaway. They'd come up maybe 3-4 times a year and stay and visit for a while. And that was, that was how we kind of kept in touch. Not kept in touch, but that was how we, instead of us going down there, they would come and see us. But obviously the last time they came up was last November, so it was a year ago, so it's been a really long time. We've not had that long before, but we've still obviously seen them all the time on the phone and everything. But it's because lately, over the past year especially, I have been desperate to go home. But also a little bit frightened to go home because I know that we'll have to come back. I know that might sound stupid, but I'm sure there's some people that will understand. It's been a long time. It is, the thing is, if you fly, you have to go from probably Inverness, or Aberdeen's not all that easy actually for a flight, to Bristol. Now you can fly to Newquay, but you'd have to fly from Inverness to London and London to Newquay, and it is astronomically priced. When you think you might get a flight for one person one way for £37, that's without luggage. You've got to do that 14 times. There's 14 people, and normally the return flight will be double that price. Then you've got to work it out with accommodation and everything else. We actually managed to find really reasonable price accommodation. It wouldn't be reasonably priced in the summer. It would be a lot more expensive. But because it's November, it's after the October holidays, because the English holidays are like a week after ours. So not next week, the week after. So it's after the holidays. It's before Christmas. It's November. Not that many people go on holiday to Cornwall in November. So we've got really reasonable priced accommodation. But flying down, it also would have meant we'd have to hire cars the other end, which is another expense. So as much as I've always said I don't think I could drive to Cornwall, we are driving to Cornwall, which is massive. It's huge. which is another reason why my car doing what it's just done is not good timing, like at all. Not good timing at all. And at the moment we're looking at having to hire a van or 9-seater or something so that we can still go, because obviously we've booked our accommodation. It's just, I know a lot of people say, well, you could probably find cheap. You can't. We have looked at every single possible way of getting us all down. That you're looking at about £3,500 for flights, and then you've got to hire vehicles the other end. It is just too expensive. The cheapest way to do it is to drive the cars. And the other day, when my mum was really poorly in hospital, I said, that's it, we're just driving. And I've always been the one that says, I don't think I can drive it, it's such a long way. I said, that's it, we're taking our cars, we're driving, we're doing it the cheapest way we can. And then my car goes and does this, which is just great. But we are it's 2 days, we're going to drive for 2 days. We're going to take it in little stints. We're going to stay halfway down the country on the way there and on the way back. It's a lot of driving. The older ones are fine. They've done long distance driving before. The younger ones have never done it. But, you know, it will be fine. We'll have lots of breaks. We'll stop in lots of places. They'll have lots of things to do. It is what it is. It will get us there, and it'll be fine. We're actually going to be staying in Newquay, which is where we used to live. We come from Camborne. My mum and dad are in Helston. We used to live in Newquay when Ben was in the RAF. So it will be like, it's where the eldest two were kind of lived and were born. Well, they were born in Truro, but, you know, that's where they lived at first. Is it quite daunting? Yes, it's very daunting. I'm very mixed emotions, because I know in my heart of hearts that a week is not going to be long enough. I know that I'm going to really struggle coming back. It's going to be really, really hard, but equally, and I think that's partially why we haven't been in a position, and to be honest, we can't really afford, you know, it's using money we had put aside for something else, but it's, you know, we make it work. We're just doing it like I said, we're doing it for the cheapest way that we can do it. And, it's time we went home. We've just not been in a position where we can do this before, you know, with Ben away and the kids at school and all those sorts of things. It's not been something that we've been able to organise, if you like, and now we can. And I think also because I know how much I miss home, sometimes it's difficult going when you know you have to come back. I know there'll be people that get me, that understand, but anyway, I can hear a car. I don't know who it is. It's not my car, because my car doesn't go. Anyway, yeah, so that is what we're doing. We're going home. We're going, the kids, the little ones especially, haven't really told them a lot. Maybe I should have done, maybe, I don't know. The older ones, obviously, it's kind of a bit of a holiday, but mainly so that we can obviously go and see my mum, and spend some time with them. But also we're going to do other things, because the little kids will be a lot. So it will be little stints that we do, because she's not really strong enough to have all the kids there all the time, but they're desperate to see them. But we're going to do like the Eden Project, the Blue Reef Aquarium, all those sorts of things. So it'll be a little bit of a holiday for them as well. And it'll obviously be a holiday for us too. So yeah, we are really, really excited. Daunting for sure. In that I have a little bit of a driving problem. Ever since I used to drive up and down the country when we lived in North Wales, Oxfordshire, no problem at all. No problem at all. We've now been in Scotland for nearly 13 years, over 12 years, and I've not been out of Scotland. I've not been further than Perth, and that was on a bus. After the twins were born, and you do get used to just the roads that you're driving on, that's very, very true. After the twins were born, we did a lot of driving. I drove to Inverness every day. We drove to Aberdeen nearly every day, and kind of on autopilot. And then when they came home, after that, I kind of developed, I've spoken before about not being able to drive to Aberdeen because I just get almost like panic attacks. But I've become like that on long distance driving. And it's ever since I had to do all the driving with them. And I think it's probably a psychological like PTSD thing or something that I should probably maybe, I don't know, speak to somebody about. But I do have a little bit of a fear of driving long distances, which is silly when you say it out loud. But anyway, so this is kind of, I will get Ben to drive, or I will just say, oh, I can't do that, I can't go there. And obviously the twins, Olivia does a lot of comps, but she goes with the people, or they go on buses or whatever, and she doesn't really want me to go anyway. And because she's always been that bit older, she hasn't needed me to go. But now the little ones are doing cheer comps. They're in like Glasgow, Dundee, other places that I need to be able to drive to. And that kind of makes me feel quite nervous. I'm like, I'm going to have to. So this is kind of a big test for me as well about the whole driving long distances thing. But it'll be fine. We used to do it all the time. We used to, you know, drive up and down the country all the time without even a thought. So I think you just become a bit complacent, don't you? Especially when you live like here, you get used to the little places that you drive and you don't go any further. And so it's kind of a big test for me as well. And I think that's been another thing kind of holding us back, is that I've always said if we go back home, I'm not going to be able to drive it. You know, we're going to have to fly and it's too expensive and all of that sort of stuff. But yeah, we're doing it. We're going to Cornwall in a few weeks' time. And we were looking forward to it. So yeah, the circumstances might not be exactly as we would have wanted. But we're really looking forward to going home. I'm really looking forward to seeing my mum and dad, especially my best friends, my brother, and his wife and their children, and like Ben's family as well. It will be nice. I know the time is going to fly by, and I'm trying to not think like that. I can't help it. It's just who I am. I can't help it. But yeah, we are really looking forward to it. And like I said, it's not necessarily the perfect circumstances that we would have, you know, anyway, we are looking forward to going. It's going to be fine. We're going to get that absolutely fine. We're going to have a nice time. It's going to be good. So we just thought we'd let you know, no, you guys know, you lot, I'm sorry, that sounds like my kids. You guys know that that's where we're going. We're going home. We're going to Cornwall. Of course, we're going to take you with us. We'll show you the things. A lot of our kids have not been to Cornwall. So Eva Down have never been to Cornwall. The older ones, I don't think. Noah, the twins, they don't really remember it. Lizzie and Olivia, they remember a little bit, but not much. But it was home for them for longer than everybody else. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be nice. So the next few weeks we have a lot of things to do. We have a lot of preparation. I have a lot of things to do. I have to try and get through my washing pile for a start, which I am desperately trying to do. I'm not looking forward to the cat going to the cat place. I hate putting him in there, not because it's not a good place, because it's lovely, and but I just don't like, he's just such a homebody. He doesn't, just hate it. But anyway, again, it is what it is. So yeah, that's our news for this week, guys. So we are going to be doing lots of preparation. We are going to be doing lots of things in the lead up, and we are going to be taking you guys with us. So that is a little update for you. When I know anything else about my car, I will let you know. But at the moment, it's still sat there. And I'm just hoping, like I said, beyond all hopes, that it's nothing too bad. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed the video, guys. Don't forget to drop us a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. All the links to everything we do are in the video description below, and we will see you in the next video.